How's it going, everybody? The Seer here, and today we are discussing the Mighty, the Immortal, and the Uncanny. This is the newest kind of modular team that we have in Marvel Strike Force now. There's going to be two teams that can combine to make one extra team. Now, I haven't gone over the full kits yet myself. I kind of want to leave that up to the live reaction, but I did kind of read a little bit of the intro, so let's go ahead and get started on this video. Now, something I do want to point out is this is going to be 2 new characters, 8 reworked characters. This should basically last during the holiday break that Scopely ends up going on. So because of that, we should have a lot of time to really invest in all of these characters. Now, later in this video, I'm going to end up showing a spreadsheet that I put together with these stats. These stats on this team are basically crazy. This is like a ridiculous stat level that this team ended up getting for their boost. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So the Uncanny Avengers. The stakes are higher than ever in Alliance War, Cosmic Crucible, and Raids, with big rewards on the line. Nick Fury is calling on 2 new heroes and reaching into his deep roster to form 3 teams: the Mighty Avengers, the Immortal X-Men, and the Uncanny Avengers. Jean Grey enters the fray to lead Beast, Cable, Polaris, and Storm. I'm really happy that Beast and Storm are on this team. They have really cool kits, and being able to actually use Cable, who has that offensive speed that he gives on turn for the turn meter, that's actually really cool. Polaris, that's kind of an interesting pull to be able to pull her into this. So I'm kind of curious how this team's going to end up working together. So this team here is going to end up forming the Immortal X-Men, a Cosmic Crucible offense squad. Thank God this is going to be for offense and not defense. Capable of rumbling with the top teams and winning the favor of the Living Tribunal. The Prince of Power, Hercules, joins the fight with Invisible Woman. Really happy about that. And Vision, Scarlet Witch, and Falcon. Vision and Scarlet Witch, as long as they don't do Scarlet Witch dirty and give her this Scarlet Witch treatment, as we call it, that's actually really cool because these two have some really cool synergy together. I wonder if we're going to get a costume, maybe like the White Vision, or if he would end up being like a new character type of thing. Let me know which one you guys would prefer for that. Falcon, that's pretty cool too. He has a lot of turn meter manipulation. So that team there is going to form the Mighty Avengers. That's going to be war offense as well. So hopefully they can take out the absolute A-Force, because that team's going to be very dangerous on defense. The Uncanny Avengers are an all-star squad with big names from the first 2 teams: Jean Grey, Hercules, Storm, Beast, and Falcon. Their special mission will be a new Spotlight Raid that's coming your way in the future. So we are getting a new Spotlight Raid. We'll have details on the raid and upcoming blog, but today let's dive into the new faces and the big updates headed to your roster near you. So for the Spotlight Raid, I'm curious if there's going to be another new team, or if they're going to end up dropping the Alpha Flight or the Spider Society. I think if they drop one, they would end up dropping Spider Society and keep the Alpha Flight on there. That would be my guess if they do something like that, and just kind of rotate them out. So Jean Grey. Jean Grey discovered her telepathic and telekinetic abilities at a young age after a tragic accident awakened her mutant powers, allowing her to read minds and move objects with her mind. She joined the School of Gifted Youngsters, where she honed her abilities and became one of the founding members of the X-Men. Using her powers to protect a world that feared mutants, Jean became a compassionate and powerful hero dedicated to fighting for peace and understanding between human and mutants. Jean Grey is the support of the Immortal X-Men and the Uncanny Avengers, and she possesses high health to keep her in the fight. She uses her telepathic powers to shield her allies while also manipulating enemy abilities. Jean applies Barrier on Spawn to her Avenger and X-Men allies. She applies Ability Block with her Special and Ultimate. In Cosmic Crucible and Raids, her power grows, as on Spawn. She also applies Safeguard to herself and her respective team, and reduces the starting ability energy for all enemies by 10. Wow, that's powerful. With 4 more Immortal X-Men allies in Crucible, for 4 more Uncanny Avengers, her allies in Raids, enemies cannot gain taunt before she takes a turn, and enemies cannot fill or reduce the speed bar for themselves, allies, or enemies, except through normal means. That's pretty powerful as far as what the kit can already do just off the description there. Now, having her be a speed of 129 and they can't gain taunt before she takes a turn, I thought she'd actually be slower than 129 based off that. She's going to be Hero Global Mutant Support. She does have the Immortal X-Men and the Uncanny Avenger tag. So her basic Psy Wave, attack primary target for 300% damage, apply defense down for 2 turns, heal block for 2 turns. The ISO attack is going to do the exact same thing. That there already kind of says Striker, especially if they get like counterattacks or anything, being able to put defense down and heal block for 2 turns. That's pretty powerful. Special Telekinetic Blitz. It's a 5/5, so this is going to be turn 1. Attack all enemies for 300% damage. Prolong the duration of all negative effects for all enemies by 1. Apply the following negative effects for 2 turns to all enemies. Defense down, heal block, disrupt. Attack gains 500% focus. In Cosmic Crucible, offense, reduce speed bar of all enemies by 25%. Safeguard for 2 turns to all Immortal X-Men allies. If this character has 3 or more Immortal X-Men allies, this attack cannot miss, cannot be blocked or counterattack. And in raids, if it has 3 or more Uncanny Avengers, it cannot miss, block, or counterattack. So that's pretty good for a special. So prolong the negative effects and then apply defense down, heal block, disrupt. Yeah, that's pretty good, especially with the extra focus that it gets on there. Ultimate Terra Throw. Energy cost 2 force. This is going to be turn 2. Attack all enemies for 420% piercing. Apply 2 bleed. Clear revive once. That's pretty good for hitting everybody. Just clear revive once to everybody. Apply ability block for 2 turns to the primary. 1000% extra focus. Enemies killed cannot be revived. Depending what her damage cap could be for damage powers, that could be devastating if it just clears revive once, no revive also. That's going to be very powerful. Passive is Marvel Girl. That's pretty cool. They actually used that name for her. On spawn, apply defense up to self and all X-Men and Avenger allies. So this is just an open tag. So that means it could work with the Extreme X-Men, Old Man Logan, stuff like that. Bury yourself in all X-Men and Avenger allies for 30% of this character's max health. On spawn, on Crucible offense, if this character has 4 or more Immortal X-Men allies, reduce the starting ability energy of each enemy's special by 10. So it's their special that gets knocked down to basically 0. That could stop like a Lady Deathstrike special, for instance, Storm's special, Dr. Doom's special. That could stop a lot of things for the special. Apply Safeguard to self and all Immortal X-Men allies on spawn and raids. Also, that could stop Odin from using this special. Yeah. Going against Odin, he just can't do the special right off the bat. That's very powerful. Alright, so on spawn and raids, if this character has 4 or more Uncanny Avenger allies, reduce the starting ability energy of the special by 10 again. That's going to happen in raids. On apply Safeguard to self and all Uncanny Avenger allies. On Crucible offense, if this character has 4 or more Immortal X-Men allies, or in raids, if this character has 4 or more Uncanny Avenger allies, before this character takes a turn, enemies cannot gain taunt. Enemies cannot fill or reduce speed bar for themselves, allies, or enemies. Yeah, she's a very powerful character. They did her justice. I like that. Let's go ahead and check out what Hercules has. The demigod and son of Zeus, Hercules was born with unmatched strength and a thirst for adventure, making him one of the most celebrated heroes of ancient Greece. After completing his famous 12 labors, he sought a new challenge and eventually found his way into the modern world. He used his godly strength, endurance, and combat skills to fight alongside Earth's mightiest heroes. Though brash and sometimes reckless, Hercules is a loyal ally and a powerful force of good, defending both mortals and gods from threats that span across time and space. With the strength of the gods and Hex-like mountain range, that's awesome, Hercules stands strong as the protector for the mighty Avenger War offense team and Uncanny Avengers. On top of keeping his allies in the fight, he hinders enemies. His basic ability denies enemies of being revived, and his special applies ability block while flipping negative effects into positive effects for his Mighty and Uncanny Avenger allies. But Hercules truly flexes with this passive on War Offense and in Rage. Hercules can not only clear, charge, and revive once, but also copy and clear all positive effects for all of his abilities. Interesting. His power extends to his Mighty and Uncanny Avenger allies in their respective game modes, transforming each ally into a warrior benefiting warship on Olympus. So he's a hero global. I think Ares is global too. Yeah, Ares is global too, so that makes sense. I was thinking Cosmic is what he would end up being, but then I remembered Ares. He's a protector as well. Mighty Avenger, Uncanny Avenger. Speed of 126. Basic around the world. Attack primary target for 320% damage. Enemies killed by this attack cannot be revived. This attack cannot be dodged. So yeah. I can see some Striker just because it's a cannot be revived mechanic. I want to see what the other abilities do. He might end up being something else. Special is Olympian Slam. It's a 5/5, so turn 1. Attack primary target and adjacent targets for 420% damage. It's not piercing, so that's good. 100% drain. Apply defense down. Apply ability block disrupt to the primary target. Apply offense up for 2 turns to self and all allies. Flip all negative effects into positive effects for self and all Mighty Avenger and Uncanny Avenger allies. This attack gains 300% focus, cannot be blocked or dodged. So this is a primary and adjacent, so I could see Raider, especially for the drain on here. Ultimate, Labor of Strength. This is going to be turn 2 because its energy costs 6/8. Gain offense up for 2 turns. Attack all enemies for 400% piercing. So this is piercing damage. 50% drain. Reduce speed bar on the primary by 20%. It's unavoidable. He's going to be a Raider. With all that drain, that's going to keep him really sustained up. So yeah, Raider for him. Passive is Champion of Olympus. And raids on spawn, apply Safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Uncanny Avenger allies. If this character has 3 or more Mystic enemies, build speed bar of self and all Uncanny Avenger allies by 20%. 3 or more Mystic enemies. So the next Spotlight raid is going to have Mystic enemies. So that way they get this portion right there. On War Offense on spawn, apply Safeguard for 2 turns to self and all Mighty Avenger allies. If this character has 3 or more Mystic enemies, build speed bar for self. So yeah, if you take him into a Mystic heavy team, that could be Captain Britain, Black Panther, Shuri, and Odin. It's like an Odinati team, if that's on War defense. Mephisto is bio. Super Scrolls bio. Night Stalkers is a Mystic team, but I don't know if you'd really want to take this into Night Stalkers. So there might be like a future Mystic team maybe that this can kind of jump into. Whenever this character takes an action, performs the following before the attack on the target. That sounds scary. Clear all charged, copy and clear all positive effects, excluding stealth, and copy and clear revive once. Whenever this character takes an action before, so on his turn, he's going to do all this first, and then he's going to take his turn. Interesting. In raids, if this character is alive and has 4 more Uncanny Avenger allies, an Uncanny Avenger ally performs these actions on their target before taking an action, except they do not copy taunt. On War Offense, if this character is alive, 4 more Mighty Avenger allies, the Mighty Avenger ally performs these actions on their target before taking an action, except they do not copy taunt. Okay. In raids, if this character has 4 more Uncanny Avenger allies, or in War Offense, if this character has 4 more Mighty Avenger allies, enemy characters cannot fill speed bar for themselves or allies, and the except normal means, of course. Gain 300% focus. Mighty Avenger and Uncanny Avenger allies gain 300% focus. So he's given additional focus also. So basically, in raids, all of these characters are going to do this. In War Offense, all of these characters are going to do this. Is how I read this. So, yeah, this is going to be a pretty crazy team, it looks like. Now, here's the interesting thing. These stats. As you see, these stats are very high numbers. Now, my initial thinking was these are very old characters. the stat increase that these characters are going to have is going to be absolutely crazy. So I'm going to go through this portion. We're going to jump to the spreadsheet and see where these stats actually rank to everybody else in the game. It's actually kind of jarring, and it kind of has me worried a little bit, but let's go ahead and see what the kits are going to do and see if the stats actually warrant how big of an increase they got. So Cable is getting massive stats. I'm just going to go over the kits, then we'll go over the stats after. His ultimate used to be on kill, fill speed bar for self and random Deadpool ally. It's unavoidable. Now it's going to on kill, fill speed bar for self, random Deadpool ally, and a random Jean Grey ally for 70%. If this character has Jean Grey as an ally, it will also flip 2 positive effects to negative effects on the primary target. Flip 2 negative effects to positive effects on self. It's going to be unavoidable, cannot be blocked. Now his damage is 370% increase. That's actually a lot. Polaris. It's going to add the trait Immortal X-Men as well. Crazy stat increases. No speed increases on these two, as you see. There are going to be some speed increases basically to everybody on the Mighty Avengers. So again, massive stat increases. Ultimate. Reverse polarity. This is now going to say if this character has a Jean Grey or multiple man ally, it's going to gain 100,000% focus to flip, regeneration to bleed. It's basically just going to do the flip unless there's trauma on them. The passive, Mistress of Magnetism. So the dev note says she used to be able to give max health and focus on war offense to herself and X Factor allies. They're removing that portion, and they're actually just going to bake those stats into the X Factor team. The X Factor team is so old, we don't use them anymore anyways, so that's fine. That might come into play on like a tower mode, I could see, for like some of the lower floors, if you had them built up, but I don't, so that's fine. So what's going to happen here is on self or ally crits, remove all deflect from the most injured non-summoned enemy that has deflect. On offense, before this character takes a turn, this character and all allies cannot gain defense down. On Crucible offense, lower the crit chance of all enemies by 25% per Immortal X-Men ally up to 100. So that's pretty crazy. On Crucible offense, your opponent can't get any crits on you. So Cabal's not on defense. That doesn't really affect them there. I think they stopped the turn meter anyways. So Old Man Logan, so if Mercs or Money's on defense. This is going to come into play if you take this into like a room 1 for Cosmic Crucible, because they get the extra damage for like Raider and Skirmisher. So you can take this team into stage 1. They're not going to crit on you for the Raider portion. So that's interesting there for a mechanic. On War offense, gain 10% max barrier. Non-summoned X Factor allies gain 10% max barrier as well. So that's not really going to come into play. That's War offense. Now Storm, again, massive stat increases for health and damage, focus, resistance. Basic, shocking blow. Attack primary target for 200% damage. Attack all adjacent targets for 150% damage. Gain 2 charge up to a maximum of 20. The special, dev note, Storm special was originally designed as an alternate ability to use charges. For her ultimate, you could deal tremendous damage, and if you used her special, you could gamble on getting multiple stuns. This always ended up feeling like Storm only had 2 abilities, her basic, and whatever ability you wanted to use to spend her charge. We decided to completely rework her special. That's good. She still slows everyone, but now she has a consistent stun. Instead of spending her charge, it instead increased her charge, allowing her to juice up her ultimate. That's very cool. That's very cool. These types of changes to kits, I'm all for this type of stuff to benefit the character like that, and while still keeping that same mechanic of it. I like that. Just like they did with Doctor Strange. So attack all targets for 200% damage. Apply slow, apply stun for 2 turns to the primary. Gain 5 charge up to a maximum of 20. If this character has a Jean Grey ally on Crucible offense, if this character has 3 or more Immortal X-Men allies, or in raids, if this character has 3 or more Uncanny Avenger allies, copy and clear all charge on all enemies to self. Clear all positive effects on all enemies. Apply trauma for 2 turns to all enemies. This attack gains 500% extra focus. Unavoidable, cannot be blocked or counterattacked. So that means this trauma is basically going to get applied on there. Even if they have like a immunity on there, it's going to clear the immunity, still apply the trauma, and do all this. That's very powerful. For passive, Ride the Wind. So here we go. On turn, gain 3 charge, up to maximum of 20. Gain speed up for 2 turns. Apply speed up to X-Men, X-Force, and Uncanny Avenger allies. On X-Men, X-Force, or Uncanny Avenger ally turn, 50% chance to grant assist now to self or a random X-Men, X-Force, or Uncanny Avenger ally. Very good. Storm got a very good rework. Beast, so gets the Immortal X-Men. Uncanny Avenger also includes the base Avenger tag. Yes. So anytime you see like Uncanny Avenger, that means that it also goes to the regular Avenger. Just like the Immortal X-Men, that goes to the flat X-Men as well. So that's good they actually put that in here. He has a massive stat boost on here. His special, Volatile Experiment. Clear 2 negative effects from self and all allies. Heal self and all allies for 20% of this character's max health. Attack all enemies for 300% damage. Apply heal block, so heal block get added on there. If this character has a Jean Grey ally, clear an additional 2 negative effects from self and all Immortal X-Men and Uncanny Avenger allies. Clear all vulnerable on self and all X-Men and Uncanny Avenger allies. This attack gains 500% extra focus. The ultimate, Mutant Enhancement. It's going to get offense up to self and all Blaster, Brawler, and X-Men. Defense up to Protector, Controller, X-Men. Speed up and generate 1 ability energy for self and all support and X-Men allies. I love this, how it kind of breaks up what happens based on the trait. That's really cool. I wish they would do more kits like that. Apply regeneration to self and all mutant allies. Enrage, this character's 4 or more Uncanny Avenger allies. Apply offense up, defense up, speed up. Generate 1 ability energy for all Uncanny Avenger allies. Stars and Garters. Dev notes. Beast had a mechanic in his passive to heal Astonishing X-Men allies an additional amount on his turn if they were the most injured ally. We decided to remove that additional healing and instead make sure the healing felt powerful when we increased Beast base health. So on turn, he's going to apply regeneration to the most injured ally. If that ally is an X-Men, heal that ally for 15% of this character's max health. That's a lot based on his health. 15% of, like, say, 7 million health is a lot of healing. Mighty Avenger character updates. All right, so now we're into the Mighty Avenger portions. This is the war portion of it. So Mighty Avenger and Uncanny Avenger. Massive stat increase. His speed goes up to a 122. So they gave him a speed increase, which is pretty cool. His basic dual SMGs. Bonus attack for 100%, 120% damage. In war, bonus attack an additional time for 120% piercing damage. That's fine. Special is Red Wing. In raids, if this character has 4 or more Uncanny Avenger allies, or on war offense, if this character has 4 or more Mighty Avenger allies, fill speed bar for self and all Mighty Avenger and Uncanny Avenger allies by an additional 20%. That's a pretty big speed increase because this special already gave a lot of turn meter. Clear stealth from all enemies. It's going to be unavoidable, cannot be blocked. Ultimate. All right, so dev notes on this one. Originally, Falcon was designed to punish positive effects on teams. This was handled by having him have a relatively low damage base stat, but he had a lot of additional bonus attacks in his kit based on the number of positive effects on the enemy. That's true. While retuning Falcon, he was a very inconsistent when fighting teams. Some teams he demolished because they were stacked on positive effects, while other times his ultimate would do little damage to teams without any positive effects. That's true. We've increased his base damage stat and reviewed the number of bonus attacks he did in his ultimate. By increasing the initial attack and having tuned his base damage value, his ultimate is still lethal, but will now feel better when teams have fewer positive effects. I'm honestly fine with that. based on like the time in game, how much time has passed, that's fine to have that kind of quality of life change for him. So let's see what it is. Attack all enemies for 210% damage plus 100% piercing damage. For each positive effect on an enemy, bonus attack the enemy for 75% piercing. In raids or on war offense, apply bleed to all enemies. That sounds fine. I'm fine with that kind of change. Because before it was 190 damage, 50 piercing. So they basically doubled the piercing, added some extra damage on there. And it used to be 80% damage plus 50% piercing. Now it's just 75% piercing. I'm fine with that change. Passive Exo 7 wingsuit. On spawn in raids, apply immunity to self and all Uncanny Avenger allies. So this team's going to spawn in with immunity. On war offense, apply immunity to self and all Mighty Avenger allies. Before this character takes a turn, this character and all Mighty Avenger and Uncanny Avenger allies cannot gain slow. That's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool passive baked in there. Gain 25% block chance plus 5% block chance or power armor, Mighty Avenger, or Uncanny Avenger ally, and gain plus 10% block amount. Okay. Invisible Woman. I'm really curious what they're going to do with her. The Mighty Avenger tag now is added. Massive stat increase. These are crazy stats, and her speed goes up to 124. Special, Bending Light. Clear all negative effects from self and all Mighty Avenger allies. Gain an assist from one random ally and another random Mighty Avenger ally. Ultimate. Attack the psionic shields. Attack the enemy with the most speed bar for 150% piercing. On war offense, bonus attack the enemy for 150% piercing and stun that enemy. So basically, if somebody's about to take a turn, you just stop them in the tracks. Passive psionic shields. When an enemy deals damage to this character's barrier or any on, so yeah, this is the retaliate when you hit barrier or an ally's barrier, attack the enemy for 250% damage. If you guys remember, she always had barrier up on the Fantastic Four, so she was always retaliating. On spawn, apply defense up for 2 turns to self and all allies. On war offense, barrier self and all Mighty Avenger allies for 30% of this character's max health. On war offense, the first time this character or an Mighty Avenger ally drops below 30% health, clear all negative effects on that character. Get defense up and stealth to that character. Barrier that character for 30% of this character's max health. So because this is war offense, that's probably why they actually put on here the first time this character or the ally drops below, just so that way it's more of an offensive consistency thing. Scarlet Witch. Let's see what rework she got. I'm really curious about this one. So massive stat increases. Speed is going up to 123 for her. Basic is Hexbolt. Gain an assist from a random vision ally, so her basic always calls vision assistant. Special is Warp Reality. Heal self, 1 random Quicksilver ally, and 1 random vision ally for 100% of this character's max health. Oh, dang. So her special is a full heal to vision. That's nasty. Ultimate Chaos Wave. If Quicksilver or Vision is an ally, this attack deals double damage to all enemies, which that's actually really cool combined ability they have. On war offense, if this character has 3 or more Mighty Avenger allies, reduce the duration of defense up on each enemy by 2. Any positive effects that has a duration of 0 expires instantly. If Quicksilver or Vision as an ally, it cannot be blocked. Passive is Power of Tithon. On spawn, on war offense, if this character has 3 or more mystic enemies, generate 1 ability energy for a random vision ally. On turn, 50% chance to spread negative effects from an enemy with a negative effect to an adjacent target. It will not spread stun. When an enemy attacks a Quicksilver or Vision ally, attack them for 250% damage. On death, apply offense up, defense up, speed up, counter, evade to basically Vision. On Quicksilver or Vision ally death, gain offense up, defense up, speed up, counter, evade. Her rework doesn't sound amazing. I was hoping that she'd get more of like the Doctor Strange rework treatment. Let's see what Vision does so we can kind of see how they're going to interact with each other. So Vision is getting massive stat increases, speed to 125, basic heavy hitter, gain assist from Scarlet Witch. So they're just always going to be assisting each other. When one goes, the other goes when they use their basic. Special is Dive Bomb. On War Offense, if this character has 3 or more Mighty Avenger allies, this attack cannot be blocked or dodged. Ultimate is Solar Beam. In raids, on War Offense, if this character has a Scarlet Witch ally and 3 or more Mighty Avenger allies, apply Trauma, Ability Block, and to all support enemies. Reduce the speed bar by 30% to all enemies. Considering that this directly says you have to have Scarlet Witch as an ally and 3 or more, so you have to have the full team for this to happen. You need to bring Scarlet Witch, because the Trauma, Ability Block on here and the speed bar, that's too big. So yeah, you do need to have Scarlet Witch on this team. I want to see how they're going to interact with each other, though, to see if she is actually going to be really good or just kind of like a filler to get this ultimate pulled off. The passive, Destiny Manipulation, it's adding in on War Offense. Apply 3 deflect to self and all Mighty Avenger allies. Then there's going to be the X Factor update. Again, that's just because Polaris got pulled off the team. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the actual stats that this team has. So we're going to start by looking at the X-Men portion of things. Cable got a 545% health increase. It's going to increase his health up to 7.7 million health. It puts him at rank 4, which is the same health as Ms. Marvel Classic. Now, these stats are all 3 diamond on all of them. Just because it's not out of the realm to have 3 diamonds on a lot of these characters. And it kind of shows you the scaling that can actually happen with these characters. So 3 diamond on all of these. So Cable's going to have 545% health increase, 370 damage, and so forth. I'm just going to look at these numbers here. This is what matters along with this. So Cable's going to have 7.7 million health, puts him at rank 4. Damage is 581,000, puts him at number 2. He's between Odin and Null for his damage abilities. His armor's 394,000. Again, rank 2 between Odin and Null. Focus is the same as Kohori at 97.7. Resist is 91.8, which is the same as Scarlet Witch Zombie. Polaris, 8.8 million health on her, puts her at number 3 next to Null. Damage, 604k, right next to Odin. Armor, 302k, next to Null. Focus, 114k, next to Null. Resist, Agatha has a lot of resist, puts her right next to Agatha. Storm, 7.5 million health, that's the same as Kohori that came out. Damage is 579k, puts her between Odin and Null for the damage at number 2. Armor is 100k, that's the same as Red Hulk, so she is going to be a little bit squishy if you want to look at the bright side of things. Focus is 141.9 basically. She has the highest focus in the game now over Old Man Logan. Resist, 91.8k, puts her at 17. Beast, 8 million health, puts him at number 4, between Null and Ms. Marvel Classic. His damage, 528k, puts him at number 2. Armor, about 148k, right next to Juggernaut Zombie as far as the armor goes. His focus is 117k, number 4 next to Null. Resist, 109k, number 5 next to Null. For the Mighty Avengers, we have Falcon, 7.3 million health, puts him basically in line with Gladiator, who's actually a tank. Damage is 601k. His damage is between Odin and Null. So when he does that piercing damage, that damage is going straight through, especially his bonus attacks. He's going to hit very hard. His armor is 26 next to Scarlet Witch Zombie at 221k. Focus is 97, about 98k. That's 18 next to Kohori. Resist, 91.8k. That's right next to Scarlet Witch Zombie, who's ranked 17. Invisible Woman has 10.4 million health. She has the highest health in the game over Mephisto. And she puts Barrier out on her team. That's going to be a problem. Damage is 527k, number 2 in Null. She's a protector with that much damage and those retaliate hits. If you hit somebody with Barrier, she's going to hit you very, very hard. Armor is 223k. That puts her in line with Scarlet Witch Zombie at 26. Focus is 127k at number 4. Resist about 115k. That's number 4 next to Agatha Harkness. She's going to be a monster to deal with because of the sustain that she brings to her team. Luckily, she's going to be more offense, not defense. Scarlet Witch, 8.2 million health, puts her at number 4, right next to Null. Damage is 637k, number 2 in damage, right next to Odin. Armor, 234, about 235k. She has the same armor as Blade, so a little bit squishy, but still, that's a lot of health you have to punch through. Focus is going to be number 1 at 145.5k, over Old Man Logan. Resist, 139.8, basically. She has the same resistance as Jessica Jones, who's at number 3 in the game. Now we have Vision, 7.8 million health. That's in line with Ms. Marvel Classic. His damage is number 2 at 615k, basically in line with Odin. Armor's 369k. That's number 2 next to Null. Focus, 205. He has the highest focus. I see 205 right there. Even if we look at the X-Men portion, beat Storm as well. So Vision now has the highest focus in the entire game. Resistance is 100k, puts him in line with Moon Knight at number 9. So massive stat increase. That's why I didn't just go over the numbers. I wanted to actually see where this lined up in the game. I want to see where Jean Grey is going to line up in the stats portion of things, and Hercules. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the spreadsheet, because I wanted to really do the deep dive into stats with the kit portion of this. Now I know this video kind of went fairly long. It was 10 characters going over their kits, the stats, and how they're going to work. But if you did enjoy this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.